Action Force Valaverse puts out really nice products. So just like you, I've purchased several of their products, the character products, the gear sets, the weapon sets, and representative that we have would be my custom Punisher figure and my custom Sergeant Stalker G.I. Joe Classified Series figure. So basically, this is the representation of the gear sets that you could purchase from them. So let's take a look at the back. And basically, the gear set that really sells from Action Force Valaverse are going to be these two body armors with their corresponding attachments, like the individual first aid kit, the belts, the weapons, and the thigh mounted holster. But the least favored, or the ones that you would always be available for purchase online, least favored is going to be this armor. Well, as you could see, compared to these other two, this is the most bare of them all. But I'm going to show you something different. Of course, when you purchase the gear sets, sometimes you really have that feeling that you could do more, or you want something different. Once again, something different. Just a natural consumer response when you already have a lot of the same thing. So you're going to look for variants, which I'm going to present right now. So an option, if you already have a lot of the accessories that I'm talking about and you would like to spice up basically the gear sets that you already have on board. So this custom modified Kitbash version of an Action Force figure is inspired by the new Netflix movie Warriors of the Future. So let's take a look at the figure. So here we go. When you take a look at it, looks like Action Force Valaverse. Still your basic Action Force Valaverse, just a different flavor. So let's do a quick 360 of the new Valaverse figure inspired by the Netflix movie. So for the main battle rifle that I'm using for this Kitbash or modified custom Action Force Valaverse figure is going to be the FN Scar rifle. So why this rifle when I already showed a separate video, a build of these new rifles? Of course, actually I had the intention of using this rifle with that figure, but when I paired it, it was just way too big for the figure, wherein this really fits and blends in nicely with the total look of the figure. So not too big, not too small, just right. So let's take a look at the base armor, which this figure sports with all of the attachments that I placed on it. And the base body that I am using is a Action Force Valaverse Garrison Cavalry Trooper. So I have several of that on board. So that is my favorite go-to base body for builds like this. So let's talk about the figure. So what did I do? So let's put this figure on a T pose so we could discuss the placement of the gears that I have on this figure. So let's start with the head unit. So the head unit is not from a Marvel Legends figure or any of your other figure lines. That is from Masters of the Universe Revelations Andra figure. So what I did was just to cut the yellow hoses that run around the neck of this helmet. So if you put that, if you're going to use this head unit with this armor, specifically with this color, you're going to have a problem with regards to mobility, because that yellow hose is going to run around the neck guard and it won't be really nice to articulate, especially the head tilts. You're going to lose the head tilt function. So what you do is just to make cuts on that hose, so you still retain a little bit of it, but you improve the mobility of the head. So my personal advice, when you're going to use this head unit, heat it up nicely, boil it first before you pop it on the head, on the peg of the Garrison Cavalry Trooper or whatever Action Force Valaverse Trooper that you have on board. Okay, so let's move to the back. Of course, that is an Action Force Valaverse backpack and it has storage capacity. So what I did, I just glued this backpack to the body armor so it won't play around or fall off easy. But I still have that storage function wherein I could just do that and place items in and place it back on figure that way. Okay, so what is that thing? Actually, that is a representation of the radio, which is a basic component of the Delta gear set. But with this radio on the back of the figure, you can't use a backpack. So the backpack is going to be canted a certain way. So I found loose items on my accessories bin, specifically that radio, and it was nice and thin, and when I jammed it on the back of the figure this way, it really fit in nicely. So there you go, we still have a radio which the Action Force Valaverse Delta gear set has. So place it on this body armor. So that is for the back of the figure. So moving to the thighs, well, that is your standard Maxim 9 holster, thigh mounted holster, and that, well, that is not a gimmick. That is when you're working with the figure and you forgot that you have a little bit of glue on your gloves and you're holding it this way because you're fiddling with the body armor and you forgot that you have glue on the thumb, and that's the result. But actually, when you take a look at it from this angle, it really looks nice because it looks like a battle wear on the gear of this figure. Okay, so on the left thigh, we have another thigh mounted gear, which is the knife. So instead of having this knife on the back side of the body armor, so I used one of the thigh mounts for the magazine caddies and glued the knife on this section. And I like it better that way, wherein all of the gear sets are on the front of the figure and we don't have anything on the back, and as you could see, nice and streamlined and tight. So moving to the front, so putting back in frame the other body armor. So on this side, I already placed two magazine caddies for the rifle, and we have two pouches on the side, so one for the pistol magazine and the other you could store possibly a candy bar, a moral boost. So on this side, of course, I took out the mag caddies. This is attached to this thigh mount, so I just pried it out, and on the belt of this body armor I glued it on this side. So when you take a look at it, it really looks full, instead of having this body armor and then you have two belts on running to the sides, but the body armor is just way too bare, and because of the the thigh mounted gears that you have, the pistol and the individual first aid kit or the mag caddies on this side of the figure using the base body armor, it just looks too thin or makes the body armor too small. But by gluing the mag caddies to the side, you really bulk up this portion of the body armor. And for the two magazine caddies, those are just separate things that I harvested from different accessories that I already have on board, loose accessories, which I could no longer remember which these came from, but they were loose, so I just harvested them and glued it on the body armor of this figure. So but I remember that these two pouches are from the G.I. Joe Classified series, the Sergeant Stalker accessories. Those pouches are from his web gear. So I just harvested them and glued it to the side. And the final accessory that we have on board, aside from this other knife, so that is more of a utility knife than a battle knife. So that is a battle knife, something that you could fight with. That is a utility knife, something that you could cut boxes or open MREs. So just like the inspiration of this figure, the Warriors of the Future movie, wherein we have gadgets and gizmos. So this is from your G.I. Joe Classified series Gang Ho figure. So this looks like a wrist or a forearm mounted device or a mini computer of some sort. So you could control drones, check out communication, or possibly check out the locations of your other team members. So a multifaceted gear set. So, and it looks really nice on the figure. And as for the handsets that I am using, that is not your standard Action Force Valaverse handsets. So this is from Marvel Legends Vulcan figure. So the loose accessories that comes with that Marvel Legends Vulcan figure, the Build-A-Figure piece. So we have several handsets on board, including these two. So I used those handsets to pair with the base helmet, so it would look really nice. So that is my Action Force Valaverse 2.0 version, just a different flavor to what you already have on board. So if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe to help me grow my channel. And see you on the next action figure review.